Hey guys, it's Meg, the literary prepper, here with you again. So today's topic, with all of the economic and environmental and military and natural disasters, everything else that you can sort of lob into a shit hits the fan kind of scenario, with all of this looming over our heads, should we be having kids and sending off another generation into the future? Big question. Many years ago, I worked with a guy who, when he and his wife were having this exact same conversation, whether or not they should be having kids, they had to deal with, the impending sort of, Cold War turned, nuclear Holocaust type scenario. And they decided, because of that it would be unfair to bring a child into, a possible sort of, not world if there was sort of like a swapping of A-bombs kind of thing to be happening between Russia and, the US, because Australia would then have to be caught up in all of that as well. They decided not to have kids because of that. And when I met him, he was very kind of regretful about that. And that's what you've got to be careful of, is that whilst at the moment, there's all sorts of signs pointing to, an end of the world scenario, and there's many sort of things that are coming around with biblical prophecy to sort of point towards us being, at the beginning of the end times, or, within the end times sort of thing. But sometimes these things don't go the way that we predict. And if you were to wind up in a situation where in 50 years' time we're still ticking along the way that we are, or if humanity hasn't crumbled into oblivion, would you regret not having kids? And that's really what you've got to ask yourself. The other thing you've got to ask is, what's the point in going on if, there's no future generation in which we can pass everything on to? Who's going to inherit our works? Just something to think about. Along those same lines, if, something were to happen and we had like an total sort of end of the world as we know it type situation, and we did go back to the Dark Ages, or wherever you think that we're heading, contraception. My advice, super personal topic, whatever you're doing now, just sort of, whether it's, some kind of, whether you're in the pill, or use condoms or other sorts of different sort of whatever you use, just start stocking up on those. Just keep them not necessarily in your stocks, but keep them somewhere where they're really handy, where you can still continue to use them at a reasonable sort of pace. But if you've got like an extra drawer in your bathroom or an extra cupboard or something, just make sure that, so for the pill, for example, if you get a 4-month prescription, it will have on your prescription that you have to consult a doctor or a chemist if you want a new script before a certain date. Just keep an eye on that date, and then go back and see if you can get another script a little bit early, and just slowly kind of stock up that way. Or if you wanted to keep a stash of condoms, because condoms can be useful for all sorts of things aside from what they're designed for. So if you wanted to sort of stock up those, just make sure that you keep a really close eye on the use by date, store them in a really cool place away from any heat or light. Actually, a bathroom is a really bad place for storing things like that. So if you have like, the bottom of a cool pantry or something like that, that's a better place to store things like condoms. You just have to make a conscious effort to keep on top of the use by dates and make sure that you don't wind up in an emergency sort of situation where, you know, society is completely crumbled into oblivion and all you have is 10-year-old condoms, which, you know, just disintegrate when you open the packet. That's not really what you want. Might be fun though. Maybe experiment. Maybe buy a, you know, packet just to see what a 10-year-old condom looks like. I don't know. That might be your thing. It sounds like something I might do. Anywho, so kids, if you want them, have them. If you don't, don't. But don't let, you know, some sort of idea of an impending crisis be what prevents you from starting a family, because you may wind up regretting it later. Make sure you stock up on your current forms of contraception if you're happy with them, and if that's what you think will be useful to you in a future sort of emergency situation. Keep an eye on the use by dates, and make sure that if you are using some kind of, you know, hormonal contraception, make sure you make regular doctor's appointments anyway to make sure that that type of contraception is still, you know, what you need. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to advise you on what you should or shouldn't be doing. Just go out there, be careful, and have fun prepping. If you guys found this video useful, like, subscribe, share it around with your friends. You guys know what to do. But for now, that's me out. I'll see you guys later. Bye.